So, Switch 2 is out. I've had time with it. I've seen so much of the discussions surrounding it, and it's a little nauseating at this point. I've tried to record this a couple times, and each time I've had audio issues. So that's cool. But I do have a lot of things I want to talk about, and I want to archive my opinions here. And we're going off the cuff, raw impressions. I've had a little bit over a day with it, and I want to talk about it because I do think my opinion is a little nuanced. It's not as extreme, but I do have concerns. I have worries and things that I want to talk about, and I want to address some of the arguments people make for or against, the price or whatever it may be. And I'm going to talk about Mario Kart World at the end of the video, like what I actually think about the game. But a lot of this is going to be focused on the Switch 2 hardware and the price, because I think that is what a lot of people are talking about. But I do want to go back a little bit. So when this initially got revealed, I think I, like most people, was excited. Everything we saw in the Direct was great, right? But one issue that I didn't even realize was they never mentioned the price of games and the console. So I expected this thing to be around $400, and it was $450. Okay, whatever. I think $450 for what we have here with the Switch 2 is okay. I would have loved 400. I think that's what it should be, but 450, especially with what it's competing with other handhelds, I think this is great. I think the screen looks great. It's very high quality. It feels more high quality than the original Switch, and I was okay with that. But then we started seeing $80 for Mario Kart, and that's when a lot of people, myself included, a lot of the hype sort of dissipated. I think right after I started seeing all the prices, my hype was pretty much immediately dead. And then I started to sort of rework my, I started to reflect on my opinion and habits with Nintendo in general. So when it comes to Nintendo, I don't buy a lot of first-party games, and that's because Nintendo very rarely puts their games on sale. So, and this has been a thing all through the Switch generation. So for 8 years now, I really don't buy a lot of first party unless it is secondhand and I can find it for like $40 or so. That's really it. Or if it's like a gift or something like that, which I have. Like I got Metroid Prime as a gift and like Luigi's Mansion and stuff like that. But generally, unless it's Zelda, Mario, or Smash Bros, that's kind of it. And my opinion was for Mario Kart, if I couldn't get the bundle, I was gonna buy it because I think $80, even for a game that is amazing, is ridiculous. Right? It's for me. It's not about the game. It's not about the quality of the game, but rather the principle and the sort of standards that it sets and what it allows. What it makes permissible. So Mario Kart World. I don't think anyone was looking at Mario Kart World. I mean, a lot of people are saying this isn't worth $80. That's sort of hinting at my own opinion, which we'll talk about later. But a lot of people would guess that yeah, it's a Nintendo game. It's going to be decent quality. I'm sure I'm going to have a lot of fun with this, right? But the issue, and something I don't see a lot of people talking about, is the precedent, right? And not that people aren't talking about the precedent, but what it will look like. So later this year, I would bet real money that we're going to see Call of Duty for $80. We're going to see Ubisoft games start to be priced at 80. We're going to see EA games start to be priced at 80. We already see things like Borderlands being talked about being priced 80. So while yes, a lot of people, maybe myself included, have their Mario's, have their Mario Karts, their Smash Bros, their Zeldas, whatever franchise it might be that they are willing to pay top dollar for. The issue is that a lot of other companies are going to say, why can't we do that? All right, and then we're going to start seeing games that maybe you would have bought if they were 60 or 70. I can't believe I'm saying 70 like it's a good thing. Um, but now those games are going to be more expensive. And you see a lot of people say, well, you were already buying special editions, right? Those are going to go up too, right? So, and with that more expensive special edition, most of the time you were getting more content. Now the base game is going to be $80, and the special edition is going to be 90, 100, 110, 120, whatever, multiply whatever it was before by, whatever price range we're going up, right? So that's the issue. And I hate that argument, right? So many Nintendo fans and just people in general, and maybe I think a lot of them are trying to whelm their own feelings, right? Trying to settle their own worries about where this is going. but I am worried that this is going to make it permissible for a lot of companies to, you know, be very anti-consumer. And I don't even have to say I'm worried because it's already happening. This is a thing that's always been happening. Video game prices and prices of everything, obviously, in the world is going up. But I mean, it's only been 5 years, and we're up $20 now on premium games, right? Or I don't know, like the AAA games. It's crazy, and I don't like it, right? So, all that being said, this, like for example, I think Breath of the Wild is one of the best games ever made, right? I do genuinely think that it's one of my favorite games ever made. I am not paying if I were to like sit down in a void and say, what is this game worth? $100, right? I still don't think it should be priced that. This game is 8 years old. This should be $20. That's what it should be. And Nintendo, so let's stop talking about Mario Kart for $80. Nintendo has already made it permissible for other companies like Sony to price games like The Last of Us that are over a decade old, to be still $60 to $70. That's not okay. That's what I don't like. That is the precedent that I think a lot of people aren't talking. Because you may hear people talk about, oh, what is this going to, what are other companies going to think? We've already seen it. We've already seen other companies essentially throw sales out the window, and the sales you do see is like, maybe 20% off. And at that point, you're just paying what was full price a couple years ago. Maybe not even 2 or 3 years ago. That's what I don't like. So Mario Kart World could have been the best game ever made, and that does not change my opinion. And I am worried, and I think it is whatever. And I'm sure some people that are watching this have already commented this and haven't even gotten to this part of the video. But there are going to be people that are saying, "Well, you're being hypocrite. You bought the game. You're the reason we're like this. You fucking Nintendo babies can't." Go without your Mario Karts. And I'm actually not being a hypocrite, and I'm kind of going to explain why. So I mentioned earlier, my own buying habits aren't changing. I've lived this reality that I think a lot of people are living for a while now, where they're saying, all right, well, I'm just going to skip out on these games. I've been doing that. I do not buy first-party Nintendo games pretty much ever. And I think $70 games in general, I kind of don't buy. I think I've bought in 3, 2 of them actually being recently with Monster Hunter and Doom, and that's because those are series that I really like. Right, those are some of my ones I'm able to be maybe a little bit of a sucker for. But like there are games like Link's Awakening, right? I'm not paying $60 for it. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that. There are so many other Nintendo games that are like that. And I'm going to continue to carry on the same practices that I've been doing. If I didn't get this bundle, right? If I didn't get the Switch Mario Kart bundle, I was not going to buy Mario Kart 8. And I don't know if I ever would. And I like Mario Kart. I have 200 hours on Mario Kart 8. So, I have no issue with the 450 of the console. And I don't even necessarily, I hate that I'm saying this, have an issue with 70. But I do have an issue with 80. And, like I said, there are like maybe 3 game series that could pull that, price out of me. And it would still really feel like shit. Yeah, so I guess for me, my reality just isn't changing. This is what I've been doing. I don't like that prices are going this way. And I do urge people, I think vote with your wallet is a real thing. I think, unfortunately, I am on the side of people that are like, don't, buy, vote with your wallet. I am on the side of those people. But I think, unfortunately, a lot of people aren't on that side. And we're going to have to see what happens. I think this Switch is going to sell. I think Mario Kart 8 is going to sell like crazy at launch. But I think we're going to have to wait, maybe a year or 2 to sort of see where it levels out among the Switch 1 and how that, and how that did. Yeah, and I after the Switch 1 got revealed and everything like that, the way I sort of got hyped back up again, because at the end of the day, like I said, I've said it like 3 times at this point, I'm fine with it being 450. I think the Switch hardware, right? So my first impressions of having it for a little over a day at this point is I think it's nice. It's a good quality handheld. It's powerful. It's good. I've played Cyberpunk on it. I've played Yakuza 0 on it. I've played Fast Fusion. I've tried a couple games that got updates, and it runs everything great. It looks great. It's pretty much everything I wanted. And it's essentially going to be a third-party machine for me. It's going to be an RPG machine for me. Beforehand, a lot of RPGs I bought on the Switch. I would, and that's because like a lot of these games, right? You're doing 100-hour side quests, and it's nice to sort of be able to do those in bed or in the car, or maybe you're on break at work or when you're waiting for class or whatever, right? And that's essentially what this is going to be. I plan to jump into the Final Fantasy Remake series with Remake 1 as it comes to the Switch. Cyberpunk is a game I beat earlier this year. I got it for Switch because this is, that's where I am going to play it for now. And I want to play it here. I want to start a new run on this. I got Yakuza 0 so I could play it on a handheld. And that's essentially what the Switch is going to be for me. And that's what I'm excited about, right? That's my positives is we have a stronger Switch that I can play a lot of these third-party games at higher quality. And yeah, so I'm very disappointed in sort of the way Nintendo is going. But I am excited in that regard. I'm excited to play like Yakuza 0. I've already started. The GameCube also runs really great. I'm excited for that and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. I'm so conflicted. I feel like I'm running in circles because I have all my opinions on modern gaming and where it's going. But I also I do like a lot about the Switch. I like the Switch. I like sort of a lot of what it's doing. But I don't know if Mario Kart being $80 and their future games being $80 is going to be worth maybe the PR hit that's going to happen, right? Because I think if this game was 70, no one would have batted an eye. Like, I think that was already sort of settled in people's minds that this is just where we are in gaming. And I think for some weird reason, Nintendo was going to like, all right, we're going to be the ones to ruin it for everybody. I just don't understand that. I don't know why they did it. Because, and we'll get to my Mario Kart 8 opinions now, this game isn't worth $80. It's just Mario Kart. There's nothing special about this game. I think when this game was coming out, and it's not to say it's a bad game, it's a good game, but when this game was coming out, right, there was a lot of copium about, oh, maybe all the DLC will be free. Maybe, it'll be the best game ever made. But it's not. It's just Mario Kart. Yes, the open world is fine. I mean, it's not really for me, but, a lot of people seem to like it. Yes, the costumes are cool. The animations are nice. It's a very pretty game. But this, I think, like, I know it technically could not have been a Switch game, right? But if this came out on the Switch, it would have just been like, wow, it's a really cool Switch game. It wouldn't have been like, whoa, what? We're getting such a steal here. I can't believe this game isn't $1 million. You know what I mean? So a lot of the copium that I think a lot of people were having didn't pan out. Like, why isn't Diddy Kong in this game? Why isn't Kamek in this game? They sort of replaced a lot of the, like, I think the base roster, not counting NPCs like the cow and the crab or whatever, is like 20 characters, 25 maybe? And some of them only have like 2 costumes, like Pauline and Donkey Kong. Like Mario has 10 and then Donkey Kong has 1. Like, that's just what happened? We waited over a decade for this game. Like, I'm being hard. Like, if I'm judging it in a void, it's fun. I like it. I've played probably maybe over 5. I've played over 5 hours, maybe coming up on 10 here, and I like it. I'm having a good time with it. But you have to take into account it's $80 fucking dollars, right? I bought the bundle. But I'm sort of future-proofing this video because I know a decade from now, this game is probably still going to cost $80. Who knows? Maybe more with the Switch 3, and they're going to have an upgrade path that's like $100, right? I don't know. But, it's $80, and we had to wait over, I think 11 years now at this point for this game. I mean, what are we doing, guys? I just don't understand it. This game should have been 70, and I hate, this whole video you can summarize by just saying, I hate the fact that saying a game should have been 70 is a positive. Like, what are we doing, man? It is just Nintendo is very, anti-consumer, and they've always been like that. I think the charm that they've had and the great games that they put out sort of blinds a lot of people, but I think this is the first time that it's sort of hard to ignore for a lot of people. So, I don't know. I think it's going to take time, and I think just to quickly summarize it, Mario Kart is fine. It's not worth $80. I don't think I'm going to be buying a lot of first-party games, and I like the hardware. So yeah, I'm excited to play Yakuza. I'm excited to play Final Fantasy 7. Fast Fusion is fire. Please buy that. It's like 15 bucks. Support the devs. Cyberpunk is great. If for some reason it runs better in handheld mode, I think that's because of the variable refresh rate. But yeah, I don't know. This video was all over the place because I had to record it like 3 times, and the first time I recorded it, I did a good job, but then I fucked up the audio. Which I've been so conflicted. I've really been trying to think about how I want to talk about this because it is weird, you know. And I don't. I'm sure a lot of the comments are going to be like people saying like, "Oh, you fucking, you know, man, children can't go without your Mario Kart." I don't know. I don't know what you want me to say, man. This is my main hobby. I'm playing within my own rules. My own rules is that I yes spend a lot of money on gaming, but I do have standards, and $80 do not meet those standards. So unless it is a game that can get me to soy jack point at the screen, which is like 3 games at max, maybe, I'm gonna hands off. And even a lot of $70 games, hey, I'm hands off unless I can find it at a mom and pop shop for like $40 max. I guess I'm just not playing it, and that sucks because these Nintendo games are great, but I think the greed, which is what it is, right? You know, you gotta get that graph has to keep going up. The shareholders got to keep making money because that's what it is at the end of the day, right? Let's stop pretending like it's anything but that. Because of that, I'm unfortunately gonna miss out on a lot of these games for a long time. You know, who knows? Um, I don't know. I'm excited to also play a lot of games like Bayonetta 3 just runs better. Um, like a lot of games with uncapped frame rates don't even need an update. They'll just be stable now. Like Batman Arkham Knight isn't a game I'm going to play on the Switch anyway. I have it on like PC and stuff. But yeah, I'm glad it runs better. The Witcher runs better. Bayonetta is a series I'm going to play on the Switch. So I'm glad that now I can actually play it. It running... Oh my God. It running dog shit on the Switch was a reason why I wasn't playing it. So... Um, yeah, that's cool. I like that stuff. Xenoblade Chronicles X I tried. It's still capped at 30, obviously, but obviously it's 1080p, no stuttering anymore. Like before I played it, and it was stuttering and stuff like that. So I literally waited. I was like, I'm gonna wait to play this game. I got a bunch of stuff on my plate right now, and I'm glad I did. I think it'll probably get a patch for like 60 FPS because I think Xenoblade Chronicles 3 did. I think maybe I'm misremembering, but I think it will. So I'm sort of waiting for that, I think. But I'm just glad a lot of these games are now actually able to run. But yeah, okay, I'm done. I'm just going to keep running in circles here. All right, yep, whatever.